This is Bob the Beast Sapp, and you're listening to Ramsey on Word on the Street. I'm on the street, baby. Word.
Word.
This is
Welcome
Bob the
to the
Beast
Word
Sapp.
on the Street podcast. It is June 20th, the year 2000 in Chael. We have a great show lined up. We're going to be talking about Chael Sonnen versus LeBron James, Silva versus Weidman. We're going to have the Fancy Boy of the Week and much more. But more importantly, we do have a special guest. But first off, my co-host is here, Jake from the MMA Podcast. How you doing, Jake?
Very good, very good. Follow us on Twitter, the MMA Podcast. That's about it.
Hell yeah, the MMA Podcast, which I also am lucky enough to co-host. Our special guest returning to us for the second time. He has now tied Kelvin Gastelum for being having the most appearances on the Word on the Street podcast. He has come back to us. He's still alive, thank God. He is none other than Gilbert Jamal Smith. You may recognize him from The Ultimate Fighter Season 17. Yes, he was on Team Jones, but he became a friend of the show and a friend of Team Sun and Team Darkside. Gilbert, you're back. How are you doing, man? How you feeling tonight?
Man, I'm chilling like a villain, Captain Ellie. You know how I do. It's all good.
Damn good to have you back, man. And thank you for, most people would have said no to this interview. There's like a huge basketball game on, from what I understand. Do you even follow the sport?
Yeah, I'm actually watching the game right now.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm technically speaking, I'm supposed to be teaching class, and like all my students was calling me. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm about to sit home and watch the game." So I was like, "You know what? The class is canceled tonight." And I'm going to say I'm going to watch the game with my son.
Uh-huh.
Really quickly, who are you going for? Are you going for Tim Duncan and San Antonio to get ring number 5, or are you going for LeBron to get number 2?
Well, first of all, Tim Duncan is boring to me. I never liked Tim Duncan. He got no personality.
Yep.
And so the Heat is just like a team that you just want to win. I think for me, or better yet, for the NBA, if the Heat win, it's just better marketing. So, I'm going for the Heat.
I'm going for LeBron James and the Heat. You're probably in the minority. A bunch of people hating on LeBron and the Heat. Shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I have it on my second screen here in my compound here in Austin, Texas. I think it's a 3-point game right now for anybody that's doing both at the same time. But Gilbert, you're back, man. You actually have a fight coming up. Please tell us all about it real quick, man. Well, take your time if you need, but what's going on with you right now?
Yeah, this is my first fight outside the UFC and my first fight back to the UFC. I'm fighting a guy named Jason Lee, July 13th at the Magnus Arena at Denver University for Pride Fighting Championship. I'm excited. Me and Jason Lee actually have a little bit of a history. So I'm really excited to finally put this one to bed. We were supposed to fight actually right before I got on the show. I actually had to pull off the fight or from the fight to get on the show. And I guess he didn't like that. He was mad about me pulling out. And I told him, I was like, bro, am I supposed to fight some local dude on some local show instead of going to the Ultimate Fighter? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, so there's a little beef going on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and also we actually competed against each other in the grappling tournament back in like 2009, 2010. It was actually 2009. Mm-hmm. And, I smashed him pretty well.
Hell yeah.
But I was grappling, and that was 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure he got better. I know I got better. So it should be interesting.
No, I'll definitely, I don't know. I checked it out, tried to see if it was going to be streaming online. I'm not sure if it is yet. But actually, Jake is actually going to be moving down to Colorado right around that time. I might have him do a little reporting for the Word on the Street podcast. Go check out your fight. Jake, do you think you'll be able to make it? Are you going to be in Colorado by then? What's the deal?
Yeah, when did you say the fight was? July when?
July 13th, Saturday night.
July 13th. The thing is, I'm either going to be moving to Denver the 9th or the 16th. So if I go at the 9th, I will 100% be there. But if I move on the 16th, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it from Florida. But you do mostly fight in the Colorado area now, right?
Yeah, I do. So actually, a couple things about this. First of all, make it July 9th. Let's make that an option, okay?
All right.
If you don't, you dead to me. You be dead to me.
God damn.
Second of all, when you do make it, make sure you go online or try to get in contact with me and get the ticket, so I get a little bit of kudos for that.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it at the door.
Excellent. Don't buy it at the door, people. You go straight to Gilbert Smith at Jamal Smith MMA on Twitter for damn sure.
And I will be. Sorry.
Or you could go to cagetix.com, and it's simple. You pick the venue, you pick the date, and you pick the fighter, and you pay your money. Boom.
Oh, awesome. Is that cagefix.com?
Yeah. Cagetix, spelled CAGETIX.com.
Gotcha. Cagetix.com. Awesome. If I were in Colorado, I'd definitely be there, man. I want to see you smash somebody pretty damn good, man.
Definitely.
Now, of course, the last time that most people saw you was on the TUF 17 finale, where you fought your fellow Team Jones member, Bubba McDaniel. Bubba McDaniel. Yeah, I got to ask you about that. How did you get matched up against the fellow Team Jones member? Did they hear you on the podcast? What happened? They figured you were Team Darkside?
Well, actually, what happened was the day after the show wrapped up, I texted Dana White, and I was like, I want to fight Bubba. I was the first person I jumped on there because I figured that other people was going to ask for it, and obviously I knew they had two guys from Team Sonnen fighting each other, Uriah and Kelvin. So I was like, they have to have two people from Team Jones fight each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only two people on our team to fight each other actually makes sense, from a marketing standpoint, from a rivalry standpoint, from a competitive standpoint would be me and Bubba.
All right, but it begs the question, what's the word on the street? You wanted to fight Bubba. Do you not like the guy? What's up?
At the time, which is funny because, me and him actually are really good friends now. We actually spent a little bit of time in Vegas together, and we actually kind of mended our old problems, whatever. But I didn't like him at all. We did not vibe. We wasn't friends. At the time, I didn't like him at all.
But it's all good now after the fight. That's always good to see. There's no after you guys have a fight, there's no reason for any beef to still exist. I mean, what are you guys gonna do? Fight again? Like, it already happened.
Well, I tell you what, man. After the fight, man, he was so I watched his interviews and he was giving me so much props. I brought the fight to him.
Yeah.
And, he was surprised at how tough I was, and he was giving me compliments on my cardio, and it was just really cool to hear him speak, in a good way about me. So, I actually thought the fight was a tough fight for both of us. I lost, but I thought considering the circumstances, if you look at it, the fact that he was 20-6, he's probably one of the biggest middleweights. He got Greg Jackson and other guys, from Greg Jackson in his corner. Here I am with, from Colorado. I'm one of the smallest middleweights, and my record was, 5-1. I thought I might give him a good fight.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, man. 3 rounds, exciting back and forth. I actually rewatched it earlier today. Damn good fight. Check it out, people. And hopefully, I know we'll see you in the UFC again. Definitely, Gilbert. That brings me to the next question here. Let's say I'm Joe Silva, and I call you, Jamal, and I call you up saying the UFC is finished unless you come back, begging you to come back, and I tell you to pick anyone in the UFC to fight, and it's a done deal. Who's it gonna be?
Chael Sonnen. No, I'm joking.
That'd be an interesting one.
No, trust me. I train with Chael Sonnen. It won't be fun at all. Anybody in UFC, man, I love and respect all those guys. It's funny because I remember telling the guys, if I was to win my fight against Bubba, I was going to tell everybody, on the microphone that I would like to drop down to 170 and fight Dan Miller.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah, and the reason why I picked Dan Miller is because you know, he's from Jersey. I'm from Jersey. He's actually a middleweight that went down to 170. He's actually he was coming off a loss at the time, you know, and a great name, a great camp, and it would be an honor to step in a cage with such a prestigious type of fighter.
Yeah, man.
And the fact that and the fact he was coming off a bad loss, I thought that would make it more feasible to make that fight happen.
Yeah. That's still a tough fight, man. Hell yeah. But yeah, a question came in from Twitter about asking if you were going to drop down a weight class. Do you have you thought about that a lot?
Yeah, it's happening, man. It's happened. It's not happening with this fight, you know, although my coach, Mark Montoya from Factory X, he's the same coach Chris Camozzi, he really wanted me to drop down to 170 for this upcoming fight. But I told him, I said, you know, truth is, I'm coming off of 2 losses, and a lot of drama in my life is going on, and, you know, losing a fight and getting cut from the UFC. I got a lot of stress on my head. I don't want to add more stress by having to make a new weight class.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you on that one, man. No, but the next fight after this win, the next fight we're talking about doing a catchweight fight at 175 with a decent name opponent. Awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, he did say after this win. So good to hear. Yeah. Good to hear that statement, man. A question came in. Your first time on the podcast, we did briefly mention that you had a military background. I believe you were in the Army, correct? The question came in about your military service. What exactly did you do in the Army? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I kind of mentioned that I can't talk about what I did in the Army. You need a presidential top secret high-level SCI clearance. You know, the truth is, I really don't even exist.
Oh, I hear you're a ghost.
All my records is classified.
Hell yeah, man.
And everything I've done, pretty much classified. But the outside world would know me as an IT tech, basically.
Oh, I hear you, man.
You know, my day job, besides my classified missions I did, you know, and all that stuff I did, I basically fixed computers and radios, and I was a combo guy.
I hear you, man. I hear you more than you would ever think. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds like you, bro.
Yeah. Well, we can't talk about that either. Now, but when you were getting into the military, though, I had to ask. They teach you hand-to-hand combat. Did you already have MMA experience when they were teaching that to you? Like, were you like, what is this clown trying to show me?
No, not at all. You have to remember, when I joined the military, I was 17 years old. It was August 30th, 1999. And I was straight out of high school. I wrestled a little bit, but the hand-to-hand combat, even advanced training, really wasn't that in-depth either. I think we had like one day that we went over it.
Yeah.
But no, I was totally new to it. I mean, you know, besides some wrestling underneath me and some boxing, you know, nah.
No, I hear you, man. Can they still? You're obviously out of the military, but can they still recall you back into service? So, like, if a big war breaks out?
That's a negative. I did when you join, typically people join for 4 years. And then you have 4 years inactive. That's when they could call you back within that 4 years.
Gotcha.
Now, if you do 8 years active, then they can't call you back. If you do 4 years active and then 4 years inactive, they can't call you back. Basically, I did my 8 years total, and I'm good to go. I mean, I would have to volunteer my services for me to be back in the Army.
Awesome. If you don't mind me asking, you obviously made a choice to not pursue it any further. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
Does it suck being in the Army, man? Is that the truth?
What? No. I mean, listen, I had one of the best careers you could probably have in the Army, and a lot of it is dealt with the choices I made. In other words, I was able to get myself as educated as possible. I was able to get a top secret clearance, which was money. I went to a lot of cool places and worked with a lot of cool people. And, you know, even my deployments wasn't as bad as it could have been, you know? Yeah. So I'm not going to brag like, yeah, I was the guy kicking down doors and dodging bullets and getting bombed on. No. But one of the reasons why I decided to get out was because of the future. You know, as I was talking to the officer to get me to re-enlist, he didn't have a lot of good options for me. He's like, yeah, we go to Fort Hood. I don't want to go to Fort Hood. I don't want to go to Texas. We go to Fort Bragg. I don't want to go to North Carolina. Right? Those places are crazy. There was no signing bonus, so I wasn't getting paid. And the thing was, I actually had a lot of education. I had my top secret clearance, and I had a lot of certifications. Like I was fiber optic certified. I was red switch certified, black switch. I was like thinking I could make a lot of money in the civilian world. And since the Army really wasn't giving me anything cool, also, I went Special Forces, right? I went SF to become Special Forces, and I medically washed out because I blew out my knee. And after that really kind of deterred me from doing regular Army. So I was like, there's no real future here. Besides me just doing it just to say I did it, just because, you know, the benefits.
No, that's awesome. Well, yeah, good to know, man. You obviously made the right choice. I mean, are you happy with pursuing an MMA career and coaching and training and all that? I mean, obviously you'd much rather be here than overseas somewhere, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously getting out, I wasn't thinking MMA. You know, when I got out, it was 2005. I remember that year was the year that season 2 was coming on. That was the first season I kind of watched the whole thing. Like season 1, I watched a little bit of it, but I could never catch it until the last couple of episodes. And obviously, I watched the finale, Forrest Griffin, and and Stephen Bonner, and I was like, okay, next season I'm watching it. And I remember watching the whole season with Ultimate Fighter season 2 and becoming a really big Rashad Evans fan. I felt like people hated on him, and I showed big time. But yeah, so at that time, I mean, I never even really I was watching it and I was training a little bit, but I didn't even thought about me fighting.
Yeah. No, I don't think we ever asked you, man. What made you decide to actually all right, I'm gonna fight a dude for money, and then go into that? What did it for you, man? There must have been some sort of turning point or something.
Well, you know, I got really heavily into jiu-jitsu by ways of capoeira.
Yeah.
I was doing
Brazilian dance fighting.
Yeah. I was doing capoeira and stuff, and a lot of the guys are Brazilians or even Americans. They go down to Brazil and do capoeira, and they mess with the Brazilians and do jiu-jitsu. So, excuse me, I apologize. So I got really heavy into jiu-jitsu. And what happened was, you know, I was thinking to myself, man, because my wrestling background, I was pretty athletic and I always worked out. You know, I would go to tournaments and win them, local tournaments and grappling squares in Vegas and stuff. And I was like, man, I am beating guys that's fighting, submitting them. I would beat somebody, and they were talking, and talk after the tournament, and they were like, yeah, I got to fight, or what for, such and such. And I was like, man, you fight? I just smashed you, bro. So it was like, I mean, I wouldn't actually say that, but I've been thinking it in my head. And I was like, man, you know, I mean, I may have some talent there. I may be able to do this.
Nice. Well, shit. It seems to be, I mean, Jesus, you made it to the UFC. I gotta ask, man. Yeah, you were fighting, in the Ultimate Fighter, walking out to that TUF gym, octagon. What was a real, actual UFC fight? You were on the main card, I believe, right?
Yeah.
What was that really like? Was it just like another fight to you, or were you blown away in a little bit of? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. So I found out about me being on the main card that Tuesday before the fight. I remember flying to Vegas, and a friend of mine that I was training with in Portland, Tyler, he's one of Zach's friends. he Twittered me, and he said, "Congratulations, you're on the main card." And I was like, "What, main card? Main card? You talking about Field TV? Main card Facebook?" Because I was thinking I was going to be on the Facebook prelims and you know, and that's it. And then I looked it up, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even tell me. I was pissed. I mean, see, people gonna think, check this out. People gonna think that I wasn't grateful, and I was.
Yeah.
But if I have to be honest with myself, I didn't think I was ready.
Oh yeah.
In my mind, I was thinking I was gonna go be prelims, we won the first fight, kind of sneak into the UFC under the radar. You know, the stadium is relatively still empty. You know, probably not too much pressure. You know, just go out and do my thing. But when I was in the main card, man, and they made a big deal about it, it was like, one, I felt bad because I felt like other people deserved the main card more than I did. You know, I felt like Dylan Andrews, Josh the Man, you know, all those guys, Luke, you know, all those guys deserved the main card more than I did because they went further than me in the tournament. So I kind of felt like I didn't deserve it. And then the night of, man, it was a lot to take in. I fought locally in Colorado Springs most of my career. Some local promotion and a small venue, maybe 2,000 people. Okay? And now I'm going Mandalay Bay main card UFC. You know, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yep. Once you're on the main card, I mean, the next biggest thing that can happen is a title fight. Like, yeah, they really shoved you out there into the damn spotlight, man. And with no explanation, no notice, no anything. You know, I actually talked to Dana White because we had a big get together, and I was like, Dana White, man, what happened? He's like, just go with it, bro. I mean, I wanted some type of like reason. It's like put it in my head and have a why. Why is it happening? And he was like, just go with it. Yeah.
And yeah.
So, okay, so you're in the octagon, you're looking at your opponent, Bruce Buffer is like ranting and raving, pointing at you. When Bruce is doing that shit, are you able to actually like listen and focus on his voice, or is your mind just a scrambled panic? I honestly, I gotta know, man.
Man, honestly, man, I don't even, I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to recollect what my mind was. Yeah. My mind was so many different places. It was so crazy. I remember looking up, high with all the batters and watching all the Hall of Famers and old cards. I remember thinking how crowded it was and how many people screaming. And of course, Bruce Buffer was, you know, I actually remember thinking, like, I'm on TV. I need to look cool. Like, you know, like this is like, I'm on the main card. I'm on FX. I need to, like, look like I'm about something. I don't know. It was so many things, man. I was just so not ready for it.
Oh, man. It was awesome, though, I got to say. Have you had a chance to rewatch your own fight? Is that something you do?
Weekly. Once a week.
Oh, wow. That's...
sometimes more. I watch it from the beginning to the end. I watch the fight. I watch the between the rounds. I watch my body expression, my facial expression. I watch, you know, my corners, my coaches, you know, and I watch my intro, everything, and
the weird guy in the suit in the crowd, just not paying attention, like.
Yeah, and you know, I watch it to see the effectiveness of my, you know, of the whole thing, and at times I watch it, it's very disappointing. I just wasn't ready.
That was a great fight, though, man. I got to say, as a fan, and not even because you've been on the show. I mean, honestly, that was a great fight to watch, and like you didn't disappoint as far as like the fight on the main card goes, man. I thought it was a damn good one.
You know, bro, I tell you what, if everybody had like short-term memory and nobody remembered that me and Bubba was on the show or how well we did on the show or what happened on the show, if they just knew us as two UFC fighters, they'd have been like, "That's a good fight.
Hell yeah,
that was good. It was. We did everything: kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, conditioning was good. We pushed each other, we punched each other, we We went for submissions on each other. We went for wrestling on each other. We did cage work. We did everything. There was nothing missing in that fight. There was nobody running around. It was like, against the cage, we was doing dirty boxing. I was going for my takedowns. You know, I would take him down. He'd get back up. You know, he sweat me on the ground. I went for a submission. You know, we did kick each other. We did everything. If people could go back and watch that fight and forget that we were from the Ultimate Fighter, forget my name was Gilbert and you knew me from the guy that was dancing and taking off my shirt, and forget the bubble was the guy that cried a couple times and, you know, kind of got knocked out by Uriah, you would think that was a decent fight by two decent fighters.
Yep. I really, honestly, I didn't hear anybody say anything bad or negative about the fight, man. I think we all digged it, man. Everybody knew what it was. It was a damn good one. It was what an MMA fight should be, man. It was mixed fighting techniques. It was mixed martial arts on display. Now, Gilbert, we do have a caller. He's calling in from Queens. His name is Yao. He's an amateur fighter himself. Yao, you're on with Gilbert Jamal Smith Jr., man. What's up, Yao? Do you have a question?
First, I have to say thank you to you, Ramses, for taking my call.
No problem.
Mr. Gilbert, how are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I enjoyed the season 17 of The Ultimate Fighter. I have to say that. You were kind of funny on there.
Kind of funny? Is that the best fucking compliment you can dig up? He was kind of funny.
I get it all the time. I mean, the truth is, I didn't get a chance to really fully show my true talents, you know, but it is what it is.
I'm busting your balls, yeah, go ahead.
The outtakes were the best, man. The stuff that they put on YouTube, man. Like, oh, that was some good shit, dude. Oh, sorry, you're on. Sorry.
Thanks. But I actually want to fight professionally, you know, as a career, and I just want to know if you have any advice or anything you can share, and even about like pre-fight stuff, you know, a lot of what goes on before the actual bout itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously, before the fight, you have to surround yourself with good people, with good coaches, people that you trust. I mean, you have to take the sport seriously. Like, you know, same thing I tell my guys, do what the other guys are not. Even when you train in the class, you ask the questions and you push yourself. When your coach give you a drill, don't do it just a couple times and then start talking or looking around. You need to be repping out, doing a lot of reps of every drill. Drillers make killers. Now, outside of the training, you need to be doing your homework, studying the sport, studying each facet of the sport, studying the kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA conditioning. Study every part of it. Educate yourself. A lot of people just kind of rely on others, like the coaches, and they expect to be given everything. You have to go get it. You have to go. You have to want it and learn it, and maybe do some traveling. Check out different gyms across the world, across the country, across the world. Take seminars, do one-on-ones. Always find a way to better yourself as a fighter. Now, pregame, the best thing I could tell you is learn how to deal with the mental aspect. And the same thing I said in the fight on the show. As a fighter, you must remember that you are first a man. You are a man. No matter if you win or lose, you are a man. Just because you go out there and you lose a fight does not take nothing away from who you are as a person. If you can go and accept the worst case scenario, then you can step into the cage and fight with a free heart, and not with such a heavy heart with heavy pressure and feeling like you got to prove something to somebody. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Just know that you are a man and you are strong and you are like perfect the way you are. Fighting doesn't make you. It doesn't and it won't break you. So you got to know who you are before you step into that cage. That's
nice advice. Nice advice, man. Yeah, man, he is competing in about a month, I believe. Grappling tournament. Good luck to you, man. I think you're gonna take it, dude. No fear whatsoever. Just run over these people, man. They're nothing. You hear me, Yao? Eye of the Tiger. What else? What else is inspirational? It's not how hard you can get hit. I believe we have another caller on the line. His name is Ross Finkelstein. He is the trivia champion on this show. But he had a good question in the. We have a chat going on while the podcast is live, so we can talk to each other here. And Ross had a good question. You had a question about Gilbert Jamal Smith Jr. The name. What, Ross? Are you there?
Yeah, I wanted to know exactly. First of all, how you doing, guys?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
The other thing is, I want to know exactly. Do we call you Gilbert? Do we call you Jamal? What's with the Jamal part?
Well, I tell you, officially my name is Gilbert, but all my friends call me Jamal. So, you know, I consider you a friend. You call me Jamal, man.
Awesome. I will call you Jamal.
Yeah, you had a follow up real quick. Sorry, we cut you off.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you, Jamal, for your kind words and for your inspirational words also.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time and calling in, man. Really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely take heed to what you said, because honestly, I just got in from jiu-jitsu tonight, and I drilled a couple of times, and then I started talking like you said not to do.
Yeah, I tell you, drillers make killers. Here's the thing. You do an armbar and practice 1,000 times just to make it work one time in competition. That's the real deal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No, that's nuts too. And you don't know who you're going to be fighting, what kind of arm you're going to be stretching, man. I've never been in a fight, guys. Well, not an MMA fight. But street fighting, that's another story. And you know what? I'll ask you guys about that. Gilbert, you ever been in a street fight, or was that a long time ago? Do you stay away from that, or are you willing to choke somebody out?
I am undefeated in the street, son.
Word on the street.
Perfect record. Yeah, I have a perfect record in the street. Ain't nobody touching me. Now, honestly, man, you know, growing up, man, we got into a lot of fights and a lot of, we did a lot of craziness, a lot of stupidness, and I won some, I lost some, and the thing was, I actually thought I could fight.
Yeah.
When I look back, I really couldn't.
It's probably just all windmill punches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, man.
No, nothing beats a good old. Everyone always every time I go out and have to deal with these people out there in the world with their germs and whatnot, a part of me always does hope that one of them will try to step up, and that it'll just be some weakling that I have to slap down. A part of me, I'll admit that. But yeah.
I tell you what, man. When I started training and competing, I stopped street fight. I know street fight. I would never. If we was in a club, you know what I'm saying, and I got my brand new Jordans, brand new spanking Jordans. They're shining because I'm swagging, right? And you came out of nowhere and you stomped on my brand new Jordans, and you looked at me like, "What you gonna do?" You know what I'm gonna do? Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn around and say, bro, you got it, man. You the man. You the man. I go ahead and clean my Jordans when I get home. It's all good. The Jordan cost me $300, $400, $500. But you know what? I'm not even going to fight you over this. You the man. You tough. And the reason being is for a couple of different things. One, I have nothing to prove. And for two, I'm not going to fight for free anymore.
Hell yeah, man. We've been saying it lately. If you're good at something, never do it for free, to quote the Joker from The Dark Knight, man. That reminds me, though, the shoes thing, man. It's kind of weird. I was thinking about that earlier today. There was this old-ass, urban legend that, people were going around stealing shoes, hiding under your car. And then when you would get to your car, they would slash your Achilles heel with a knife and then steal your shoes. Does anybody remember that legend ever being spread around when they were kids?
No. I never heard that. I tell you what, in my neighborhood, ain't nobody hide underneath the car. They come up straight to you. They're like, yo, give me that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because at the time nobody questioned it. It was like, yeah, man, because shoes were the thing back in the 90s or whatever. I mean, even more than today, even more. Yeah. And so everybody was like, that was the rumor, the urban legend that when you wake up with you're in a bathtub full of ice and they stole your kidney. The other one was they would slice your Achilles heel and steal your shoes. And then today I was thinking about that. I was thinking, wait, the shoes would be covered in blood if they did that shit. It made no fucking sense. I don't even know why I brought it. We brought up Jordans, whatever. Sorry, people. That was ridiculous. Jake from the MMA podcast, you got something?
Yeah. It's not really fight related or anything, but we're going kind of off of the cuff. And the news story that everyone is talking about. Apparently, I'm sure you've heard about it. The NSA, they're listening to everything. They have all these phone records from Verizon and AT&T. Are you one of these people who says, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't care? Or are you one of these people standing up going, what the fuck is going on here? What do you think about all of this shittery and fuckery and whatnot?
Man, I'm a little bit indifferent to it. Like, I guess part of me really don't care. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy that I feel like, if somebody listens to my phone calls that I'd be, scared or afraid. And the truth is, I don't think that I would ever be in that situation. However, I do understand, the importance of having your privacy and not having, a big government control every aspect of your life, because you never know where that can go, with the wrong, people and heading the government. But
and plus, you served 8 years where basically you had to give up your rights. Like you were serving the government for 8 years.
I was serving the government, but I don't think I really gave up my rights. I mean, I think I always had the right. The fact of the matter, I always felt like I always had a choice. If I didn't want to do something, I didn't do it. I mean, there was consequences, though.
Yeah.
But, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of conspiracies, and there's actually a lot of things really happening that we don't know about.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like it's very hard to separate, fact from fiction, so I could really care less, and I'm not doing nothing, and they haven't messed with me so far, so I'm all right.
And one more question, kind of revolving around the same issue of legal shit. I don't think I was actually on the show the first time you were on. It was one of the rare ones where I was out of town. I think I may have actually been in Texas for my cousin's wedding, but I either wasn't here or I was so high I didn't remember you being on the show, which leads me to ask, you live in the state of Colorado, one of the 2 states that have legalized it. What are your thoughts on the legalization movement?
Okay, so weed being legalized. Now here's the thing. Before I joined the show, that's when it was time to vote. And that was one of the things that was on the docket to vote for, besides the presidency, which was the law to legalize weed. I actually voted against legalizing weed. Mm-hmm. And here's my justification for this. Don't get me wrong. If you want to go smoke, go smoke. I have nothing against it. I do think that it should have some type of what's the best way to say it? The best way to say it is like this. I don't want my kids smoking weed. And I would be a hypocrite to tell my kids not to smoke weed if I voted to legalize to legalize weed. So
I get what you're saying.
I live my life without those things, and I don't need it. So I don't think it's a needed necessity. However, I do understand the economics behind, marijuana, and is actually doing very well for Colorado. And also the medical use when it's used for real medical problems. I understand that too. But just for guys going out there and just smoking weed, just to smoke weed and whatever, I don't see that. It's not me. And I actually kind of feel a little bit the same of alcohol, really.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. I mean, I don't have kids, but if you were to ask me, I wouldn't want them smoking weed at 18, not because of the weed, but just because they're 18 and they're reckless. I don't want them drinking at 18. I don't want them smoking at 18. At age 30, if my kids want to drink and smoke and have fun, have fucking fun, but it's more of like you were kind of getting to the age thing, and it kind of rests back on the parents to get that grounded in. Do you have any kids?
I got 3 kids.
True. What ages and names? You got to tell us.
Yeah, I got 3 kids. They're 16, 15, and 10. Start off from the oldest, Malaysia, Nisa, and Elijah. And the thing is this, I wouldn't even want my kids smoking weed when they're 30. I just want to see the purpose. Like, listen, man, listen. You know, people, like, I go out all the time and people are like, oh, man, you going to drink with me? No. And like, oh, man, come on, have fun. I am having fun. I'm probably having more fun than you are, and I'm sober.
Yep.
Why do I need a drink?
Yeah. Yo, you mentioned you have kids. I sort of got a follow up for that. So you have 2 girls and 1 son.
Yeah.
I guess women's MMA is starting to come up, but that's most part out of the question. Your son, though, would you want him to grow up being a fighter or not?
If my son wanted to be a fighter, so be it. I wouldn't care. I don't push that on him. He is a wrestler. He does wrestle. He's been wrestling for like 3-4 years now. He does very well in that. He loves football. He actually loves football a little bit more than wrestling, I think, at times. People like, yeah, do you train your son in jiu-jitsu and boxing? We dabble a little bit. He actually does some stuff. He's actually pretty decent. But, no, I don't stress it. I actually want him to wrestle and stay with wrestling because that's going to lead to a college education. That's a scholarship. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but jiu-jitsu is not going to get you any type of college education. Same thing with boxing. Same thing with MMA. And I'd rather him go that route, get a scholarship, make it to college, and then if he decides after he graduates, if he decides he wants to pursue MMA, then so be it. But no, I don't have no pressures on him.
Have either your girls ever taken a boxing or jiu-jitsu class or anything? Do we have another Ronda Rousey coming down the pipeline from Colorado Springs?
No, my oldest daughter, she's a girly girl. My middle child, she loves boxing and jiu-jitsu and everything, but she will only practice with her brother. She don't want to go to class or do wrestling, and she would get down and dirty. Actually, I got videos on Facebook of her sparring and everything, but she will only train with her brother. I don't know.
Nice. Ramses, I think that's all I got.
Yes, Gilbert, I just want to say full disclosure. I have been smoking tonight just to present the other side of well, it's not even really a debate here. But yeah, I think you're right. Legalizing it would just make it easier for people to just be bums who are going to be bums. Like, It depends on the person who is smoking the marijuana. Like me, for instance, I'm 30 years old. I have a full-time job. I support myself. No kids, no wife. So yes, I do smoke marijuana, and I do smoke it also for medicinal purposes, actually. It helps me sleep, helps me with the anxiety. I'm going through early onset of arthritis. It helps with my joint pain and my creativity, honestly. I love it. So I'm able to actually keep down a full-time job while smoking marijuana. But the problem is that you're right. There are these people out there to where they're just, if you give them weed, that's all they're going to fucking do with the rest of their lives. So I do see that side of the argument. It just depends on the person. It always, like with alcohol, man, there's people that, just have that glass of wine at night, just to relax, it helps their heart even. They just have one. They're able to do that. And then you have the people where they will never stop putting the damn bottle down. So
yeah, you're right. You know what? I agree with you. Listen, if you want to smoke weed, you can smoke weed. I don't care. Even I won't say smoking around me, but if I knew you was a weed smoker, I wouldn't disown you. We'd be homeboys or whatever. If you're smoking, literally, if I came over to your crib and you puffing, I don't know if I would stay there. That's just me.
No, I hear you, man.
What I'm saying? I'm the same way with cigarettes. Now, I will also say this too. I have a bigger disdain for cigarettes than I do for marijuana. I hate cigarettes even more. Cigarettes, it doesn't have a place in society.
Yeah,
does not have a place in society.
Yeah, it's an addictive poison, and that's where I'm okay with weed because it is not addictive and it is not a poison. But yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I just had to weigh in there because I got to be honest, man. Most of the people that listen to the Word on the Street podcast are smokers, so they would have called me out if I hadn't at least said something. But I think we're both right in this case. It just depends on the person, the people. Now we do. Hopefully, Jamal, you have a couple more minutes with us here. Because there's a little, the ratings have been dipping low lately, so I got to do these radical segments. One of them is called Fancy Boy of the Week, where we highlight someone who has utterly failed in the MMA world. So, Jake, hopefully you're ready with the little intro there. And
Fancy Boy music?
Yeah, and we'll just do a Fancy Boy of the Week, and I will ask you about my nomination after we're done here, Gilbert, because you have unfortunately been around this person. So yeah, let's do it right now. The Fancy Boy of the Week on the Word on the Street podcast.
He's a dandy. He's a real fancy boy.
Go ahead.
This week's Fancy Boy of the Week on the Word on the Street podcast is none other than referee Steve Mazzagatti. I don't know if you people saw him ref the fight with John Fitch versus Berkman. John Fitch got choked out, laid out. Berkman was the referee. Steve Mazzagatti had no idea what was going on, no concern for John Fitch's safety whatsoever that we could see. So he is gonna be the Fancy Boy of the Week. They might as well let Stevie Wonder ref his fights at this point, people. Somebody needs to set Steve Mazzagatti up and put $6 million worth of marijuana plants in his garage and call the cops on his ass. This guy's got to go. Steve Mazzagatti, he enjoys purchasing fine linens and matching pillowcases, all right? He's going to expensive restaurants and ordering the finest entrees on the menu. He knows the difference between a salad and a dinner fork. He's going to Broadway plays unaccompanied, and he's openly weeping at the performances. He's fancy is what I'm getting at, alright? The best part of reffing to Steve Mazzagatti is when he gets to put his little dainty little fingers inside those tiny little vinyl gloves, alright? He's going full fancy, and that's why he's our Fancy Boy of the Week.
Wow.
Sorry, Gilbert. There was, you couldn't hear it, but there's music playing under that. And it's all fancy music. It's supposedly hilarious, but of course, who knows? But my question to you, Gilbert, wasn't Mazzagatti the ref on your season of The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, I believe he ref one of my fights.
Did he keep it together on the show, or what's the word on the street? Were you people like, whenever he was going to ref one of your fights, were you like, shit, we already know?
I mean, that did cross my mind, but there was no controversy on the show, like in all the fights. So I think he had a really easy job. So the problem with Steve is that obviously when there's nothing, like if there's nothing happening in the fight, then it's good because he doesn't have to make the judgment call. Mm-hmm. But when he does have to make a judgment call, he's sometimes late or make the wrong call. He's sometimes very inconsistent in his calls, and I can see the beef with Steve. I can see that. I really can. Sometimes I'm a little bit, I feel sympathy for people. That fight with John Fitch, John was out, and Steve he didn't know. And I would say it was surprising to see John go out though. I mean, like I think maybe as a ref he was probably thinking like, oh, he's going to fight this, and he's not going to go out or maybe tap.
Right.
Nobody, didn't expect for John Fitch to go out. So if that was any other ref, it probably wouldn't be much of a big issue. Like, he messed up once. But because Steve has a record of making these type of mistakes,
mm-hmm.
then it just compounded and it looks really bad for him.
Yeah, there's a history. And yeah, that was kind of a tough, like, on the spot call. The issue I had was, like, when the choke was going down, Mazzagatti had no look of even concern. Like, it didn't look like he honestly was not paying attention to what was going on. I was going to ask, obviously you follow the UFC, it seems like you saw the Fitch Berkman fight on World Series of Fighting. Do you watch the World Series of Fighting and Bellator? Do you keep up with those organizations?
I don't watch it as much as I read about it later on or find videos on it and stuff like that. I am getting into Bellator a little bit more. I actually watched the Fight Masters last night. It was all right, compared to the Ultimate Fighter. It was all right. But yeah, I don't watch them as much as I could. But yeah, I do try to at least keep knowledge on it.
Word. All right, I got one more topic to broach with you, Jamal. Before we let you go, we do thank you for your time, man. Honestly, we hope open invitation. Just let me know anytime you ever want to come back on, pop back on after your fight. We definitely got to talk to you.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll become a regular, man. That's because you're a natural, man. I love hearing you on your radio appearances and interviews, man. You got to do more of them. Just talk to anybody that wants, man. But yeah, you're always welcome on the Word on the Street podcast. Now, the last topic here. Obviously, the NBA Finals going on right now. The score is 60-62. Who cares who's winning? Yeah, LeBron is about to try to tie it up right now, but he actually made MMA news. LeBron James did. He just made it 63-60. Yeah, LeBron James. Apparently, Chael Sonnen cut a promo on him during the Jim Rome show. I don't know how many people heard it. He called LeBron basically a clown. Told a story about how LeBron James hit on his fiance, hit on Chael Sonnen's fiance. Now, Gilbert, I gotta ask you as a man. Let's say LeBron James comes up to your woman and says, what the exact quote was: "Are those Tic Tacs in your blouse, or are you just happy to see me?" What are you gonna? Are you gonna step up to LeBron? What's the deal here? What would you do, Jamal? Because he's a big guy.
Yeah. I love Chael Sonnen, but that seems so far-fetched. I can't even visualize that really happening.
It's true. It might be a work. It might all be. He might be bullshitting us.
Yeah, obviously, I would say something and it's one of those things like, I don't know, man.
I know.
I won't trip about it like I want to fight him or something. And I'll be like, obviously LeBron is a jackass, and I'll probably just walk off. I'll probably say something about his wife. I don't know.
No, I hear you, man. I don't know what I'd do either, dude. Because it's LeBron, man. It's like, what? Nothing good can come out of it.
Yo, really quickly, we have two members on the call, Yao and Ross, who were both at UFC 159 in Newark, and you were there to Jamal. Can you confirm reports that you and Clint were entertaining crowds there, dancing, and can you tell us what dance you were doing?
What?
All right, okay, so obviously in Jersey, me and Clint was getting down on the floor. It was crazy. We were having a good time. It's just the way we are. The night before, we partied together, and we partied. Like, listen, I have never partied, whereas I partied all night till the sun came up. And me and Clint, we started it was actually me, Clint, and Uriah, and we was in New York. And we partied from like 9 o'clock to almost like 5, 6 o'clock. I was dropping Clint off, and it was like the sun was coming up. So the next day, it just continued, and it was fun, man. And when the music started playing and it was bumping, I get down. It's nothing.
Yeah, what was UFC 159 the first UFC event you had been to, or had you been to previous UFCs in the past?
Well, you fought in the past one.
Yeah.
Well, no. But being there as a spectator, douchebag.
Yeah. Of course, I've been to a UFC. Okay, first of all, the first UFC I've been to was the one in Houston, the one with Matt Serra knocked out GSP.
UFC 69.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, 69. Yeah. And then I went to a couple of fight nights in Denver, which is funny because one of them was John Jones was fighting Brandon Vera, and I actually met John Jones in the hotel. He doesn't remember that, but it was funny. But then I obviously went to the UFC fight that happened at the Pepsi Center, which is John Jones versus Rampage. And I went to one in Las Vegas. Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort. So I went to a few UFC.
Damn, all those were pretty notable cards as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
UFC definitely got some money from me.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, I was gonna ask, what did you, real talk, as much as you can tell us, what did you do with that UFC money, son?
You know what, man? I tell people, like, people talk about, the money you make. The problem is that the money you spend for your training camp, for your supplements, for your travel, for time away from work, like it puts you a little bit behind, man. So when I got paid, that money was gone. It was gone.
Yeah,
it was like it was like money that got me caught up.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a couple dollars left over, but yeah, it wasn't a lot.
So was it, but obviously there's something in it other than money. Looking back on the whole thing, The Ultimate Fighter, the fighting in the TUF finale, was it worth it?
Well, so listen, I spent the last 5-6 years of my life training for that moment.
Yeah.
It's something I would never forget. It's funny, man. I can't even stress this enough. The people that I've met, the friends that I've made, that alone is worth it. Like, making friends with Clint, he's from ATL. Making friends with Dylan, he's from Australia. Making friends with Adam Seller, from Josh from Miami. Even Bubba, Uriah from New York, Kelvin, Luke from England. Meeting the producers, meeting Dana White, and being on the reality TV show. That now, every time I watch a reality TV show, I think about the backseat, the stuff that happened, the producers, the cameras, and how people cut things, and in the downtime, and like my life has changed, and my eyes has opened up. I mean, just being in the backstage of the UFC fight, that I fought on, seeing how things work with Burt Watson, with the weigh-ins, dealing with Joe Silva. Come on, man, that experience, forget about it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I would definitely trade places just to experience that in my life with you, man. You are a lucky man, honestly. And you're going to be back. We wish nothing but the best. He is fighting on the 19th of July, I believe.
The 13th of July. July 13th.
Sorry, July 13th. And he is also hopefully going to have another battle on the Word on the Street podcast on Tuesday versus... I'm trying to get Kelvin Gastelum to come on the show. Coach Jamie Huey will be here. I'm trying to organize a live rap battle, people.
Yeah, listen, man. Listen. Mm-hmm. These kids don't want to battle me.
I know.
And it's not to no fault of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to be able to, play basketball like LeBron.
That's right.
Not everybody is going to be, play golf like Tiger Woods.
Damn right.
Swim like Michael Phelps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their fault. Some people are born blessed. Some people are born with less.
Oof.
But these kids cannot even fathom the thought of battling me in rap.
They don't know any better. They don't know any better.
They must not. If they show up, it'll be my duty to educate them on the fact that they have no ability to step in the lyrical ring with the king.
The gauntlet has been thrown. Hell yeah. He's throwing it down, laying down the challenge here.
Last night, I believe I was reading some of your raps written to Jamie Huey and Kelvin Gastelum on air, and I must say they were fucking on point. They were actually really fucking funny. I'm digging them up now to try and find them again.
Yeah.
But it's going to go down, people. I'm going to get working it out with Kelvin. Coach Jamie Huey's already in. I'm going to contact Jimmy Quinlan, Clint Hester, see if we can get this live rap battle going on the Word on the Street podcast.
Just as a quick preview, this is a quick battle rap that Jamal wrote to Kelvin Gastelum. Bro, you spit duds. I'm a stud. I got muscles. You got flub. Rub-a-dub-dub. I finish cats with lyrical subs. Bro, just quit. Your raps are shit. When I spit, you know it's legit. I got too much wit. I got pecs. You got bitch tits. Holy shit.
Bitch tits.
Nice.
I keep it real, son. I was born in a cipher. Came up in a cipher. Raised in a cipher. You can't touch this.
Hell yeah, man. We're gonna find out Tuesday. Hopefully it goes down. Hopefully we'll get you back on, Gilbert. How can people out there just contact you and follow you?
They can definitely follow me on Twitter at Jamal Smith MMA. They can find me on Facebook at under Gilbert Jamal Smith. Hit me up anytime. Anytime anybody contact me, I always reply. It's what I do for all the fans. If you got a question, if you got a comment, I will always reply. If you got something negative to say, I will reply, but I'm not going to sit there and argue with you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reply with hugs and kisses or something like that. If you want to be a smart ass, I'll come back and be a smart ass because I get that all the time. People are like, oh, you suck. I'm like, man, I love you too, bro.
Yep.
That's just the way I am. I'm not going to argue with anybody because, internet thugs or internet fighters doesn't make sense. But I always reply to all my fans or just MMA fans in general. So you got a question, I try to answer it.
Yep, all these haters have one thing in common. They always hate themselves more than anyone else. Hell yeah.
Holy
Gilbert,
shit, in the
positive
deep long,
interview.
yeah. The deep long 3 to in the third. But thank you for coming on, Gilbert, for real. Or fucking Jamal, sorry.
Gilbert Jamal Smith, thank you again.
Sure.
Word on the Street podcast. We will let you go. Hopefully we'll talk to you on Tuesday. I'll let you know as soon as we have your opponents lined up, sir. And thank you once again. I hope you have a good night, man.
You too, brother. Thank you. It's been awesome.
Later, man. That was Gilbert Jamal Smith. He's out of here.
Follow him at Jamal Smith MMA on Twitter. And sorry to interject. I know it's not really proper form as the guy's leaving to just go, holy shit! But the Heat just,
game.
They sunk a deep 3. It's Game 7 of the finals. You got to be a little bit into it.
I've got it on my screen too. But no, that was awesome. He did come back once again. He dropped the gauntlet challenge. KG, if you're out there, Coach Jamie Huey, Clint Hester, Jimmy Q, you've been called out to the carpet. Let's see you on Tuesday. Sorry, I had to take a drink there. I was unprofessional. Now, I wanted to get all your other takes on the Chael Sonnen versus LeBron James while we're on the subject of basketball. Everyone's watching the game. Jake, dude, what do you think? You think Chael was just making this shit up, trolling people, or do you think this was an actual event that happened?
I mean, I don't imagine people making up stories about their fiance being hit on in a disrespectful way, because that's not something you want to happen.
He even named the card and
yeah.
him, dude.
Yo, look, LeBron James versus Chael Sonnen. If they're seeing who runs faster, LeBron James. If they're seeing who can bench press more, probably LeBron James. Who can jump higher, LeBron James. Who can shoot a ball into a hoop better, LeBron James. Who is bigger, LeBron James. But if you put the two of them against each other, whether it's in a cage or a street alley, you know what's going to happen? Chael Sonnen is going to shoot that double, put LeBron James on his prissy little ass, and beat the shit out of him.
I agree. Ross Finkelstein, the best Jew in the MMA business, the undefeated, severely disputed champion on the Word on the Street. What's your take on this LeBron James nonsense?
LeBron's a bum. That's really all there is to say. I mean, he's a punk. Chael said it all, and Jake said it all. If they ever meet in an alleyway, in an octagon, in a Yama pit, on a bus somewhere, it doesn't matter. Chael's walking out with his hand raised, with his head up. LeBron's lying on the floor in a pool of blood.
Pool of blood. Yeah,
Edward Norton joining the podcast.
Yeah, I was used to pools of blood. Linger longer if you're not a long-time listener. What do you think, man? LeBron James hitting on the future Mrs. Sonnen, the future First Lady of Westland, Oregon. What's your take, dude?
I love it. I don't like LeBron James at all. And I love Chael Sonnen, so I like this little beef they have going on. I'm hoping it continues, and I'm hoping LeBron James comes out with at least a statement or two, about what Chael has said so far.
Yeah, well, he's too busy just putting on a fucking work right now from the looks of it. You know, they got to keep this game tied, even close, so people can watch these fucking commercials. You understand me, people? That's not even a joke. That is the reality. Here we are miraculously at Game 7. If you guys even saw the last... God, it's all rigged, people. It's all rigged. All right? The only thing that's not going to be rigged is Gilbert Jamal Smith Jr.'s fight on July 13th in Colorado, people. You know what I think is...
As far as my thoughts on that, do I think it's totally rigged? No. Do I think the NBA puts out directives like, hey, put LeBron to the line. If he gets fouled, if he looks like he gets any bit fouled, let him go to the line. Because the NBA probably does favor a team. I don't think it's rigged like, all right, well, the score is going to be 69-67 going into the fourth, and the Heat are going to win by 4 points. You know, I think it's set up in a way, but I don't think it's that rigged. But you know what I do really love to do? I love finding these people on Twitter, and there's millions of them. You see them tweet about their team, the Heat, whatever, call it a work. They will be so fucking pissed off at you. They'll call you all sorts of names, and you aren't calling them anything. You aren't saying it's definitely work. You're just suggesting an opinion to them, and they flip the fuck out on you. It's awesome.
Yeah, and basically half the people... you can look back on my damn Twitter timeline. When the game was getting close, I called bullshit. I wondered what was going to happen next, tongue-in-cheek, people, the miracle comeback, the win. All of a sudden, the last 10 seconds of a game turns into half an hour. That doesn't set off warning flags for anybody, though. Right now, Christ. Enough about this fucking basketball shit. Let's talk about the real big work that's going to happen in MMA in a couple days here. I'm talking about Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. This kid's gonna take a dive, he's gonna freeze, they're gonna poison him, something's gonna happen to this fucking kid. It looks like the fight's actually gonna happen, which, you know, I was expecting something, some sort of pullout, some injury, something to fuck with this fight, but it looks like it's actually gonna happen. So, let's assume that it goes down. You guys already know my take. I predict Anderson Silva wins. I think this kid, you know, they're gonna make him take a dive or something. What do you guys think? What's your honest prediction is what I'm getting at. None of this bullshit analysis. We're a couple days away. What's your fucking prediction that you're willing to just put on the fucking record right now? Jake, what's up?
First off, are we opening up the phone lines? Should I change the little graphic up to include the phone number? If you do want to call in, the phone number is 512-782-WORD. That's 512-782-9673. Also, I'm extremely high. What are we talking about?
Silva versus Weidman. You got to give your actual prediction of how the fight will unfold. What's up, man?
Yo, I've been saying for months, two of the hardest title fights I've ever had to call are Silva Weidman and Aldo Pettis. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Aldo Pettis. Look, I seriously do think that Chris Weidman, aside from Chael Sonnen, and maybe he ends up being just as much or more of a challenge, but I really think that Chael Sonnen and Chris Weidman are the two toughest guys that Anderson Silva's ever fought. Chael Sonnen gave him fits, and now Weidman's coming in, and I think Weidman's a great fighter. I really, truly think he's the second best guy at middleweight now. That said, Anderson Silva, second round TKO.
Anderson Silva, second round TKO is the official prediction from Jake from the MMA podcast. He might switch it up. Ross Finkelstein.
Yeah, I'm not married to it, but now, you know, I'm thinking about it. I find it tough to pick against the man.
Ross Finkelstein, Silva versus Weidman. I know Chris Weidman's one of your favorite fighters. You're near and dear to him. But are you able to step outside of yourself for a second here? How do you think this fight's honestly going to go down? What's your prediction?
Listen, I don't usually doubt the word on the street, but I can straight up tell you right now that the word on the street that you are telling these people on this podcast right now about Chris Weidman is complete shit.
Oh,
Chris
yeah?
Weidman is going to beat Anderson Silva, and this is a guarantee. So much as I guarantee it so much that I'm going to say this right now. If Anderson Silva beats Chris Weidman on July 6th, I will retire from competing here on the Word on the Street podcast.
Holy
I'm making
shit.
that statement right now.
Somebody look up the betting odds on Silva versus Weidman real quick.
Looking that up right now.
Because, Ross, man, are you willing to actually put money where your mouth is? Besides your title, which is priceless. The Word on the Street championship belt. It's priceless. But, I mean, are you actually going to bet money on your boy, Chris Weidman?
Yes.
Really? I mean, like, honestly, would you bet everything you had? I mean, assuming it was realistic and you could bet some casino, like, everything I have. You just
Wow.
Straight up, I would bet everything I have.
The line's actually a lot closer than I thought. Anderson Silva is only minus 240. Chris Weidman's plus 230.
What's the line on Weidman by submission? What's the prop?
Give me a second to look that up. Yeah, let me dig that up real quick.
So Weidman is the underdog, of course, facing the undefeated champion. What I think is going to happen is this. He's going to freeze like a deer in headlights, just like everybody else does when they take a dive. Or when they're legitimately nervous, they believe in the specter that is Anderson Silva, the spider. I think Weidman's going to
Basically,
freeze.
Spider's a 2.5 to 1 favorite.
He's going to freeze 2.5 to 1 favorite?
Silva is, yeah.
That son of a bitch. Yeah, sorry. He's going to freeze, basically. And, of course, Weidman, I believe it's been over a year since he last fought. You're going to have that cage rust, man. He better walk out to Rusty Cage by Soundgarden, because that's what's it's gonna fucking look like, this people. Those factors are playing against him. What was his injury? I believe it was a shoulder or back.
The prop you wanted was Weidman wins by submission.
Yes.
Plus 450.
Put your money down right now on that prop.
Yeah, actually,
you will make money. I promise every single one of you will make money if you put down money on Chris Weidman by submission.
You think he's going to submit Anderson Silva?
Yeah, you
Yes.
Look at the lines. The lines actually say that Chris Weidman is twice as likely to submit him than get a TKO or KO. He's plus 450 for the submission, plus 900 for the KO, and he's also twice as likely to submit Silva than Silva is to submit him. Silva by submission is plus 1,000.
Let me just quiz our champ here, just to prove that he really does know his shit. Chris Weidman's record. How many wins by submission does he have? Because most people would figure he's going to knock him out if he wins against the Spider. How many
has
in the UFC? I mean, submissions. Like Damian Maia, didn't that just go to a decision?
Yep.
Yeah. No, he has 2 UFC submissions. He had the back-to-back submissions with Bongfeld and
he
Lawler.
put Lawler to sleep.
Yeah, he put Lawler to sleep. He submitted Jesse Bongfeld with a beautiful standing guillotine. Every fight that he's had a full training camp, he has finished. Every single fight. The first 3 fights of his career, he had full training camps for each fight. He finished all of them. His 4th and 5th, he didn't have a full training camp. And then his 6th and 7th fights, he had full training camps. The fight against Maia, he didn't have a full training camp. The one against Munoz he did. So every single fight, every single time this guy has a full training camp, he puts in the proper time. He doesn't just beat guys, he demolishes them. He finishes them in devastating fashion.
All right, we'll continue with your prediction in detail then. You think he's going to submit Anderson Silva via what method? Specific submission.
Anything Darce-wise, guillotine, a Darce, a guillotine, a rear naked choke even. Chris has so many tools. He could submit him using anything. Chris is, this is a guy who, if you listen to his interview with Ariel Hawaii, he said to him that he was speaking to John Danaher for the first time. The first time he ever met him, John went up to him after the training session and said, "What belt are you?" And Chris said, I guess a blue belt. Chris doesn't really have a belt. So he goes, "You're a purple belt." And Danaher later told him that if he had said he was a brown belt, he would have promoted him to a black belt because that's how good he was.
We have a caller to the Word on the Street podcast from the 910 area code. Are you there? Well, what name do you want to give us? How you doing?
What's up, man? You call me. I'm Joe.
Joe. All right, Joe. How's it going? Welcome to the Word on the Street podcast, dude. We talked to Gilbert Jamal Smith Jr. Now we're talking Silva versus Weidman. We talked about LeBron James versus Chael Sonnen. You got? Did you call in for anything specific, or you just want to get in on it? What's the word on the street, man?
Yeah, the word. This is the word. I got Anderson Silva, second round TKO.
So you're following. You're backing up. Somebody called that, right? Jake did.
I did. Yep, I did.
Yeah, I'm hoping that. I mean, I like Weidman. The guy's really good, but I'm hoping he takes him down the first round, beats him up a little bit. Anderson's going to get pissed off, come with one of those crazy knees, and just fuck him up second round.
Now, Ross, what if Chris Weidman shows up? He has a habit sometimes of showing up with that Shogun belly flap, dude. What's up with that, man? No comment from Ross Finkelstein, I see. Joe, so you think Anderson Silva is going to prevail even at the age of 38 over a bigger, stronger, younger opponent? Do you think it has anything to do with money? There's no rigging involved. Do you think it's going to be a straight-up ass-whooping?
Yeah, I bet he's just going to whoop his ass going there second round. I don't think they're rigged, but I know for a fact, I feel you on the NBA playoffs being rigged. And, I mean, that's 100% without a doubt.
I want to ask. So why is it that some people can believe that, like baseball, NBA is rigged, but they refuse to believe that MMA or the UFC could possibly be rigged?
I don't know. I think it's just too real that MMA. I mean, the fact is MMA has been rigged before, so that plays a big factor.
Yep, definitely. Most of the Pride fights, the big money fights, every report, you talk to anybody, it was all fake. I believe even when Pride broke up, like it even got to the point where like some of the people, the money people, were murdering each other. Someday we'll have the full story on that shit. But yeah, we haven't got to you yet, man. Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. He's from New York, ain't he? Where is he from? Jersey or some shit? I don't know. What do you think? What is your on the paper prediction right now? Of course, you can always change it in a later episode. There's still a couple days to go. But Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. Yao, how do you think it's going to go?
This is just going to be a sad fight because all this crap about, even the promo, how you see Gray Maynard, even Rashad Evans, George St. Pierre saying Chris Weidman is going to beat Anderson Silva.
It's a little
this
suspicious.
Is all crap. It's really just crap, and I don't know any other word to describe it with. Anderson Silva is going to beat Chris Weidman. It's going to look like a kid trying to fight his dad. That's what this fight is going to look like. Chris Weidman holds his hands too far away from his face, and he's just going to walk into straight punches. Like I said before, wrestling won't be a factor in this fight. If anyone knows their wrestling, Chris Weidman stands way too straight up to try to shoot on Anderson Silva. So Anderson's just going to see it coming, push his head away, and he's just going to finish him. Point blank, Anderson Silva will finish Chris Weidman. And after this, it's like, what else? Like Chael said, if he beats a guy from a different generation, he's the best in the world without any doubt. And I'm really just curious to see what everybody's going to have to say. Like, where are they going to go after the fight?
Oh, we already know what's next after this. We already know they're setting up a big money fight, which is why I think Chris Weidman is going to take this dive. Honestly.
No, what I'm saying is the people that are, like, hyping up Chris Weidman and siding with him, where are they going to go after this? And I have to apologize to the listeners that had to hear Ross say, bet all your money on Chris Weidman and all that stuff. I'm just going to apologize in the
Yo, I think...
Don't listen to this, man.
Yeah, I think Ross also wanted to chime in because when you got to him before, he was muted like a mook.
He was. What's up, Ross? I even forgot what my damn question was.
You asked about the Shogun flab, and Weidman's not going to have any Shogun flab. Weidman's going to go in there. He's going to be in the best shape of his life. He already looks fantastic. He's in unbelievable shape already. He's been in unbelievable shape for the past 2 months. He's going to go out there. He's going to win this fight. There's no distractions for him in his camp. Everything's going smooth for him. He is 150% focused. And you guys say, he's just going to eat a knee coming in, or he's going to eat the straight punches. First of all, Chris doesn't need to just shoot in. He's not just going to dive in on a leg and hope for the best. That's not... He has a very, very well-planned game plan that he's going to execute, and you'll see on July 6th.
I thought the fight was on the 9th, actually. I'm fucked up. Okay, yeah, wait, you got to be specific here. You think Silva's going to knock him out what round?
Anderson Silva, he's at a level, you got to remember, there's levels to this MMA stuff, all right? Chris Weidman is not on Anderson Silva's level. When you reach a certain level, you can decide how you want to finish a fight, and you can decide how you're going to fight a fight. He's going to fight his fight, and he's going to decide how he wants to beat Chris Weidman. He can go to the distance with him. He can knock him out. He can submit him. He can kill him. He can do whatever he wants at this level.
Damn. I think he
can't
can
do
kill
Ninja
him.
Gaiden.
Really, it's sad to, man, I stress it every time. People think I'm just smoking pot, making shit up. But it really is sad to see that all you people believe that this will be an actual real fight. It is not going to be. Chris Weidman, mark my words, here's my official prediction, will take a dive, lose on purpose to Anderson Spider Silva, because then you have it. Then officially Anderson Silva has cleaned out the entire division, and the only thing left for him to do is fight GSP, who is going to win his next fight. I don't believe it's going to be against Johnny Hendricks, but if it is against Hendricks, that's going to be a work too. Anderson Silva and GSP is going to happen at the end of this year. That's my fucking prediction. That's the word on the street. And sorry, Chris Weidman, he's going to get a huge payday out of this. He's going to live to fight another day. Once Anderson retires, he's probably right up there to be, the one to fucking inherit the crown. But this time, he's got to be a company man. I mean, he's got that house bill to, he's got to repay that shit. He hasn't fought in over a year. This is either, take a risk on losing and getting back to the back of the line, or guess what? Just play along, be a company man. We'll get you the best fights ever. We'll set you up for life. What would you do, people? That's the word on the street prediction. God damn it.
Yo, I hate to hate on all the conspiracy shit, but I'd like to see you call a conspiracy ahead of time where you're not saying a heavy favorite's going to win the fight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wish it were that way, too. I wish they would make it a little bit more... I wish it wasn't this easy. I wish it wasn't this blatant and out in the open. But then it drives me crazy that you people can't see it. Like, what would you do if you were the UFC? What game plan is going to make you the most money and the fighters the most money in the long run?
Yo, I've said it a million times. Yes, in the short term, planning works, does a lot. But, how many people down the line, you say this fight's a work, that fight's a work. You're talking about dozens of people knowing about this. If word ever made it to the media that the UFC fixed one fight, that's all it takes, one fight, they would lose so many fans. They would lose so much money. It's not worth them in the long term. It's not worth the risk to ever fix a fight. Because if you fix a fight, then guess what? The UFC is now the WWE, and it's worth nothing.
Who would be the person to do it, though? Who would be the whistleblower? It would have to, the only credible source would have to be the fighter himself admitting it. Why would any fighter ever do that?
Well,
I don't know. You have a lot of fighters who are upset with the UFC fighter pay. I mean, and think about it. All right, these fighters, you have not just fighters but athletes who get a lot of money, spend a lot of money, and go broke. A story like this, you write a book, you become a millionaire. Period.
No way, man. Look at
Yes
Bob
way. Of course, dude. Jose, sorry, and then I'll let you time in, but Jose Canseco was going broke. You know what that motherfucker did? He tore open the book on steroids. He wrote a book. He became a millionaire. He incriminated himself doing it, but guess what? He made millions off of that.
He was famous, and he had nothing to lose, basically. But fighters, man, no. There's no reason for anybody to admit that they took a dive. It's career suicide. It will not help you.
It would be after they retired.
It's still suicide, man. Like admitting that everything you worked for in your whole career was a lie. Nobody would do it. There's no reason to at this point. There's no reason.
Well, if they were fixing fights, the question is why would Pettis versus Aldo? Why would someone get injured during that fight? That would be an amazing fight.
Actually,
and a real big draw. So why would so many people be getting hurt with all these big fights that could possibly be happening?
Injuries are real.
They could just kill on.
No, injuries happen.
Most of the injuries I would say are real, but it's funny you bring up that fight, because actually, look, I don't usually hop on the bandwagon of, you know, I never think any fights are works. I definitely think that fighters will sometimes go in there to spar and not be entertaining, but I actually heard a theory on Aldo Pettis that makes a lot of sense, and I don't want to buy into it, but a lot of people are saying that this Pettis injury isn't really much of an injury. Aldo versus Chan Sung Jung won't sell as much as Aldo Pettis, obviously, but you know what would happen if Grant doesn't have an injury, and if Bendo and Grant really fight, then that kills this whole thing. But if Grant for some reason doesn't fight at 164 and Pettis is slotted in there, and Milwaukee, his hometown, where they're not able to sell tickets currently, they still haven't sold out the lower bowl.
Yeah, this is the ultimate fix.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to do it though. I don't think it's even a fix.
If Pettis ends up fighting at UFC 164, that shit's at work.
Well, as a business, you're talking about them setting up matches and telling lies to be able to do so. That's different from a work. A work is a rigged fight. Like I'm talking about but no, obviously if you're the UFC, like honestly at this point, I would just set up the Pettis versus Bendo fight at 164 in Milwaukee. I'd just do it. I mean, it's not unethical. He does have a shot. I mean, you can't argue that Pettis, he is deserving of a title shot. Why wouldn't you do it? They've got to do it. I mean, that's what I would do. I'm surprised they haven't just changed it already. They don't even need to fake an injury or anything like that. They just need to change it. People are going to be like, okay, what are they going to do? Like, is anybody going to really be like, I'm not going anymore because I wanted to see TJ Grant fight? No, they want to see Pettis versus Bendo, man. It's going to happen any day now. That's my prediction. Yao, you actually had a question, I believe. If you're back, Yao, I'm not sure. It might be
the truth.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Ramses.
What's up, man?
You said that this 162 fight, Silva and Weidman, isn't a real fight. It's a work. But if this were a real fight, who would win?
Chris Weidman would just grab a hold of that skinny man, just throw him down to the fucking ground, and just beat him until he was unconscious with elbows and punches.
And that's what's going to happen, except with submissions, too.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Not. He's going to freeze. He's going to have the cage rust. He hasn't fought in over a year. He has a lot of disadvantages. He's facing an undefeated champion.
Let me interrupt the cage rust thing.
You just said two opposite things. Like, he's going to murder him, but he's got rust. He's going to die.
No, I'm saying if it were a real fight.
Listen. The whole ring rust thing, there are fighters who go in there and they do freeze up. But you can't say he hasn't fought in a year. He's fought plenty of times over the past year. He's fought in the gym. He's had a mental fight with the whole Hurricane Sandy shit. He has fought plenty of times this past year. If you think that Chris Weidman, first of all, work shit aside. Set the work shit aside. If you think Chris Weidman's going to go in there in this legit fight and be scared or freeze up against some skinny Brazilian man with a high-pitched voice, come on, you're out of your mind.
I don't have a high-pitched voice.
I break his face. Break his face.
You disrespect me, Ross. I say you train, and I'm talking. Train.
Break his teeth. Fucking it. No, come on, people. Look, if it were a real actual fight and they were to let Chris Weidman do his thing, he would clobber this man and not even make it a fun fight to watch. It would just be a sick alley style beat down. But no, it's going to be a work, people. He's going to take a dive. He has to. It's a business. That's what it comes down to. It is not a true ranked professional sport. It is entertainment. and someday these MMA journalists, I guess they'll never admit to it, but sometimes I'm a little embarrassed for you guys out there in the MMA media world because you haven't realized that you're covering pro wrestling. I do. That's the Word on the Street podcast, right? That's what we're doing here. And I don't give a fuck because it is entertaining to me. I buy every fucking card except that last one. I didn't fall for that fucking Hendo Rashad shit for 1 second, people. Learn your lesson, UFC. But other than that, thank you, and I love you for the free fights. Best in the business. Best fighters ever. Best to the fans, definitely. But that was a shit card, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you people. Now, hold on a second. Let's open up the paper here. See what else is in the news.
Are you literally opening up the Twitter mailbag, or are you just checking the fucking news, old style?
I get the Word on the Street newspaper here. Here we go. Let's see what happened today. Oh, Jacob Volkman admitted that he had a seizure and a blackout the day before his World Series of Fighting match, which he won. I gotta get your takes, people. Jake, how stupid is this motherfucker to have still competed after he had a blackout? And a seizure.
That was my first thought. The guy has a seizure, a blackout, an obvious concussion, and he still fights the next day. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he bitched about fighter pay, but he seems like one of those people who would bitch about fighter pay. Maybe he needed the money. I mean, honestly, that's the only reason I can think for him to have fought. But shit, that was dumb as fuck. He really could have died. He could have easily died. And I'm not adding any hyperbole in. If you get a concussion and get knocked out the next day, you could die very easily. Like, that was so dumb.
Ross, this fucking Jacob Volkman, he said he blamed it on dehydration. He says since he's some sort of chiropractic, he's a chiropractor, that he has somehow MD level medical knowledge, and that he judged himself to be fine to fight the next day after having a seizure. What's your take on this guy? How stupid is this guy, or would you do the same thing?
Well, first off, he's a chiropractor. Chiropractors are not doctors. They're fucking chiropractors. That's like saying a dentist is a doctor, too. No, you're a dentist. You're not a doctor.
Don't be an anti-dentite, Ross.
Let me read the quote here. The thing about chiropractic education is that the first 2 years are the same as an MD's education. These are Jacob Volkman's words. You can just branch off after 2 years. So he's saying the first 2 years of learning how to be a chiropractic, whatever the fuck it is the same as being an MD for 2 years. So go on, Russ.
I mean, he's Mr. Jacob Volkman, not Dr. Jacob Volkman, and it's clear he's not Dr. Jacob Volkman because he was stupid enough to fight after being concussed and a seizure. But I don't want to so much focus on the fact that he fought the next day. I want to focus more on the fact that still Fancy Pants Lyle Beerbaum still could not beat Jacob Volkman, who was concussed and had a seizure the previous day. That is just absolutely pathetic. I like Lyle Beerbaum, but I think for that, Fancy Pants is a fancy boy.
Bum status, hell yeah. Yao, let's say the day before your Grappler's Quest tournament, you're in the hotel, the maid knocks on the door, and you have a fucking seizure. Are you gonna compete the next day?
I'm gonna go to a doctor, and like a real doctor, and see whether or not I can, because that's ridiculous. That's like borderline, like Jake said, he could have died. Like, this is a combat sport, and your life is on the line every time you compete. So that's a little bit ridiculous. If he would have lost, it would have been worse if he lost and then, put this out there. That would have been even worse. So it's kind of good that he put it out there after he won.
Word, man. Okay, people. Actually, last question before we get to the trivia, which is what I know all you suckers are waiting for. And who knows? People, the reviews are coming in, the ratings are being boosted. Maybe it's a good thing. Who knows? We are going to have We're going to see if Ross can defend his title once again for the 8th or 9th time. I don't even fucking know what. I should have this in front of me, but 7th or 8th or 9th title defense for Ross.
I think this is number 9.
Let's go with 9. Why not, people? I can make shit up just like the UFC, too. All right. But before we get to the trivia, I have one more question, just because I was honestly curious. I was going to ask Jamal while he was on, but, we ran out of time with him. He was nice enough to give us an hour, and I'm trying to keep interviews under an hour. Hopefully we'll get to the 30-minute mark eventually. Depends on the person. Anyway, my question to everybody, Jake first. Who is the most famous person you've ever met? Not even in MMA world, although that's the most likely answer from us. But I'm just honestly curious. You ever met anybody famous, celebrity, politician? What's up, Jake?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it was Evel Knievel. It was random as fuck. One of the first X Games were in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I went as a little kid, and I snaked my way through the crowd so I could be in the first row. And I was like 6 or 7. I didn't give a fuck. So there was a little space in the gate, and I just walked through, and I just started walking around. I walked back into the tent with a bunch of people. Dave Mira actually showed me around, and Evel Knievel did too. I as a 6 or 7-year-old talked to him for a while, and then my dad said it was the most surreal moment of his entire life, because a half hour later I was back where my dad was. I think I was sitting on his shoulders or something, and then Evel Knievel's limo was pulling through and everyone was partying, and Evel was one of my dad's heroes growing up. And the limo's driving really slow, and then it gets to where I am, and Evel's like, hey, stop, and then my dad's looking at Evel Knievel in person for the first time ever, his hero, and Evel says to my dad, hey, is that your boy, Jake? And he's like, what the fuck, yeah? And he's like, yeah, he's a really great kid, and then the card started going on, and my dad was like, what the fuck just happened? Are you kidding me?
That's nuts, man. So it was the original Evel Knievel, not the son, not Junior.
No, it was the one who's
the
passed.
OG.
Yeah, he's I think he died in the 2000s. But I'm trying to think of anybody else. I don't know if I've ever met a movie star or anything. I can't fucking think of anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he died in 2007.
Yo, Tim Tebow went to my rival high school and broke my friend's collarbone by stepping on him.
That son of a bitch.
It's kind of funny, actually. Tebow went from St. Augustine to UF to Gainesville, then went out to Denver. I'm taking a similar course. I'm the poor man's Tim Tebow, ladies and gentlemen. That's the word on the street.
Breaking people's collarbones, stepping all over them. That's not very Christian-like. Ross Finkelstein. Most famous person you've ever met? Anything come to mind?
Oh shit. Fuck. I don't know.
I'll tell you. I met Robert De Niro one time when I was working in the hotel business. He didn't look like Robert De Niro at all. He was totally fat. Looked like an old man. You have to really look to be able to find the Robert De Niro in him. He must cut weight or something every time he's going to be in a movie, and then of course they do the hair dye thing, man. Oh man, he looked like he had a foot in the grave. And then I also met Billy D. Williams in an elevator, and he asked me where the gym was, and I was just like, Lando? Yeah, the truth. Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Well, I would say Barack Obama, but I'd have to say Frankie Edgar.
Did you really meet the president?
Yeah, would you say Barack Obama because you met him, or would you say, what?
What is this? You guys heard the question. I said Barack Obama.
You just said, yo,
Tell
when
us
the
the
fuck
story,
did you
man.
meet Barack Obama, cocksucker?
Oh, you at a rally or something?
Wow.
Are you related
Ray
to the
Spader.
president?
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Are we talking to Yao Obama here? Are you related to him?
Yao Obama.
Did you vote for him?
I couldn't vote. I was 17.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say he always picks black fighters. Of course, he was gonna vote for Obama. That cocksucker.
But yeah, I'd have to say Frankie Edgar. That was pretty cool too. I almost cried.
Oh yeah, did you got something signed by him? It was like where was it? I forgot already. I saw the picture, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was at 159. They had like the little autograph signings. Like Pettis was out there, Ronda and Demetrius Johnson, but I only cared about seeing Frankie, so that's where I went.
He's gonna fight on the Silva Weidman card, dude. He obviously cleans up Oliveira hands down, right? Or are you worried about the guy?
Yeah, I'm always worried, but he should beat Charles Oliveira impressively too.
What if he doesn't, man? Are you gonna say Frankie's at bump status?
Nah, he'll never. He shouldn't be at bump status ever. He's an elite guy. Like I said, there's levels to this stuff, and he's at a certain level where he shouldn't drop to bum status.
Anybody have any other thoughts on the Frankie Edgar Oliveira fight? Anybody think he's going to get his ass whooped? Because I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Actually,
no way.
Yeah, actually, coincidentally, I am looking at the props. Edgar, a huge favorite, and minus 440.
That's
most
it?
Yeah. So
he should be minus 1,500, I'd say.
Yeah, and yeah, if you pick, you think there's any way Edgar wins by a submission?
No, he's gonna knock
Charles. Him out. Yeah, Charles is pretty good on the ground. But if you think he can knock him out, that's plus 135. So you could more than double your money if you pick Edgar with the KO or TKO.
That's a great prop, and I advise everyone listening to this podcast, all 7 million of you, to go out there and place money on that prop.
7 million and one. What up, a girly MMA? What up, girl?
30 seconds left in the NBA Finals game. It is 92-88. Miami leading.
God, this is painful.
Looks like it's probably over, right?
Yeah,
yep.
88-90.
It was. The Spurs had a 5-point lead with under 30 seconds to go in Game 6. So you never know, cocksuckers.
It's over. Miami wins, man. There's only
if the Spurs can hit a 3 on their next possession, they have a legitimate shot.
So it's going to be a Hail Mary coming up is basically what's going down. I don't know that much about my basketball. Yeah, it sounds like it's already done, man. But, all right. Yeah, maybe we'll have some exciting kind of crazy shit. We will get to the trivia game. I guess, you know what? Let's fucking do it right now. Because I'm telling you, it looks like it's already in the bags for Miami. And if you're listening, you probably obviously don't give a shit. So let's fucking do this, people. Let's see if Ross Finkelstein himself, the word on the street champion, undefeated, can defend.
Didn't Ross call you out on Tuesday?
Yeah, I called you out last night.
Oh shit! Oh, okay. I thought that was for Tuesday.
I don't mind taking the hosting over, but it sounded like Anderson Silva was calling out Dana White. It sounded like Ross Finkelstein wanted some of the guy who everybody was accusing of giving Ross the answers.
Yeah, well, fuck, I'm a little unprepared. Yeah, we can do it that way. I already had my trivia choices lined up here for you people.
I'll tell you what. This is what I can do. For everybody listening, I know you want to see as many title defenses as possible, so I'll tell you what. If Ramses wants to get his ass kicked really quickly, I'll defend the title twice tonight.
Oh shit! You down for that, Ramses? A double defense?
I have no idea what that means. I'm just ready for this shit, man.
It means I'll host first, and then if you don't win, you'll host after. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it then. Let's get it going.
All right. He is. Wait. Should I start the music going? Get a little game. What?
Let me just explain the rules real quick for anybody.
Oh yeah, listening. That's right.
Basically, Jake is going to start naming facts about a fighter, and we'll buzz in if we know the answer with our own names. So if I know the answer, I'm going to say Ramses, and then I will fucking, of course, take the win. So Jake, start naming those fucking facts. Let's do this.
All right, and I got a different theme going. I got the match game theme music. Match game. What a great fucking show. All right, first clue. He is a Brazilian. born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's 6 feet tall. He's a southpaw. 35 years old.
Ramses. Oh, shit. Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort is incorrect.
Damn.
Ross.
Age.
Ross?
You said Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo and a southpaw.
Oh, fuck, no. He's from Curitiba. Shit. Well, I might as well make a guess anyway. Vanderlei.
Vanderlei is incorrect, which I think we should have a rule. If everybody guesses and there's only one left, I think Yao gets the automatic point here.
I do.
Because I would just start spitting out facts until it was obvious. Like,
was it Vinny?
let's see. Let's see who will still get it. The point goes to Yao, but we'll just do it. He's lost to Mark Munoz, Anderson Silva, Nate Marquardt, and Chris Weidman. Ross.
Damian Maia.
Damian Maia is correct, but Ross gets the point. But Yao gets the point, goes up on these motherfuckers. All right.
Forgot Yao was in on this.
All right. Your next fighter, he is an American. He's 29 years old. A 67-inch reach. Fights out of the MMA lab. Was a D1 wrestler. Has one loss on his record. His loss is to a fighter who has fought for the UFC championship.
Ross.
John
Moraga.
John Moraga is correct.
What?
Yeah, the 67-inch reach was probably the best clue going out there. But yeah, it's John Moraga.
Shit.
All right. Let me pick another guy. Who am I gonna pick? I'll go with him. Fuck it. All right. Pull up his Wikipedia page, of course. Pulls. All right. There we go. All right. This fighter is an Australian. Ramses.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Well, the Heat just won, I'll say that.
Yeah, the Heat win 95-88. LeBron, second ring. Fuck the Heat. All right. Do you have a guess, Ramses?
Oh, I fucked up. So, yeah.
Australian.
I'm just gonna guess. I don't even fucking think he's Australian. James Tahuna.
James Tahuna is a New Zealander. That is incorrect. Orthodox. Fighting out of the USA, out of the state of Washington, with American Top Team. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and most of his wins are by submission. His last fight was a loss. His last 2 fights were losses. His last 3 fights were losses. But before the last 3 fights, he was on an 8-fight tear.
Ross.
George Sotiropoulos.
G. Sot is correct. Ross with point number 2. Looking to beat down Ramses like he was looking to do.
If I can just quickly, can I just chime in about George Sotiropoulos? What happened to this guy? This guy was basically the next guy in line to fight for the title at 155 back going into UFC 127. He was fighting Dennis Seaver, and pretty much everyone was saying, all right, this guy's like the next guy to fight Edgar Maynard for the belt. This guy is next. And he just goes out there and he gets his ass beat 3 times in a row. Out of nowhere. Chin just gone. Like that.
Status, man. He's probably on drugs or something. Allegedly. That's not the word on the street. That's just me talking.
That's just him talking, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, your next fighter, cocksuckers. He is a Brazilian, and his most recent fight was against another Brazilian in Brazil. Alright, I just gotta make sure his opponent, his opponent was a Brazilian. The name looked Brazilian, but I was being kind of presumptuous. Alright. His first UFC fight was back in 2007, where he scored a round 1 TKO because his other opponent had a knee injury. Let's see. He has won 1 fight in his last 5.
Ross.
Thiago
Silva.
That's 3 points. Ross takes
Holy
it.
Shit. Congratulations, Ross.
Yo, that is defense number 9. Let me cue up the victory music, the pride victory music. Ross, it's all you.
Number 9, did you say? That's number 9. Number 9, one more in the win column, one more for the bad guy, one more for the Jew, and I'm coming to take number 10 right now.
Holy shit. Congratulations.
Short but sweet.
That was damn good, man. Congratulations. I did fuck up on that Australian one. Who knows what would have happened.
I defeated Vince McMahon. I beat Dana.
Well, I'll have a rematch. All right.
Yo, but Dana's about to send out Stone Cold Steve Austin, you cocksucker. Let's do it.
I am Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right, then I'm The Rock. Give me some muscle butter to put on my arms. I'm ready to do this.
Baby oil.
Oil up these pythons.
All right. Well, what the fuck are we doing
Don't
now?
question me, cocksucker.
Are we going to have the second title defense real quick before we end this son of a bitch?
I think so. I think Yao, are you in?
I am.
All right, we'll do it. Round 2, game 2, actually. Game 2, here we go. All right, people. Playing are Jake, the champion Ross, and Yao.
Yao.
I will be dictating the fighter facts. Yao, you already have a guess?
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right, here we go. This fighter is 6 feet 1 inches tall. Orthodox stance. A brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 41 years old. Nine losses.
Ross.
What's up, Ross?
Vladimir Matyushenko.
Vladimir Matyushenko is incorrect, Ross. Incorrect. We will continue. Once again, he is 6 feet 1. Orthodox stance. He has 9 losses. Brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He fought from 2001 to 2012. He is 41 years old. Like I said, he fights in the middleweight division. 73-inch reach. He is from Framingham, Massachusetts. His last fight, he won by TKO in the second round in Nashville, Tennessee. Before that, he had suffered 2 losses in a row. This is all in the UFC.
Jesus Christ.
He has wins over Kendall Grove. He has a win over Nate Quarry.
Jake.
What's up, Jake?
Jorge Rivera.
Jorge Rivera is correct, Jake.
Yeah, he literally destroyed Nate Quarry's face.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was the guy that had to reconstruct his damn face after that fight, right? God damn it.
Yeah, that was a toughie. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was an easy one, man. 41 years old. Come on, people.
I should have not gone for the early guess.
Yeah.
But I do respect Jake and Yao. I respect their skills, so I pounced on it a bit early before they got to it, and I paid the price. Should have waited.
Word. Well, hopefully we'll make up for it. Jake has 1 point on the board. This next fighter has been fighting since the year 2006. He is...
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I totally was not paying attention to that first clue.
He's been fighting since the year 2006. He is a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. stance is orthodox. 70-inch reach. He
You
is
said 70, like 70?
70-inch reach. He is an American. He is 34 years old. He was born in Phoenix, Arizona. The team that he fights out of, the American Kickboxing Academy. His style is boxing and wrestling. He has one draw on his record. He attended Michigan State University.
Yow.
Yow. What's up?
Ray Maynard.
It is Gray Maynard. We got a three-way
Nice.
three-way tie here, 1 point each.
I didn't realize Gray had a blue belt.
Blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I would think
Yeah,
with his wrestling, he would have more than just a blue belt.
And I feel like he's been around since longer than 06, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he does feel like he's been around longer, but yeah, because of TUF.
Yeah, he sprung right the fuck up. Win.
He only has like 2 losses on his record, I believe.
Yeah, and he pretty much he fought like maybe once or twice before going on TUF. So,
All right, people, let's go to the next round here. Three-way tie, Jake Ross and Yao. Here is the next fighter. He is an American. He has fought in the welterweight and lightweight divisions. He has a 71.5-inch reach. Yao, what is your guess?
Matt Hughes.
It is not Matt Hughes, Yao. That is incorrect. He is an American. Fought in the welterweight and lightweight divisions. 71.5-inch reach. He is 5 feet 9 inches tall.
Yow.
You can't guess again, Yao. I believe you have been eliminated from this round. I think you're only allowed one guess. Is that correct?
Yep.
No, I thought if it was a tie, you get one extra try.
What the fuck are you talking about,
said that.
cocksucker?
No, he said that like a couple weeks ago.
Somebody clarify.
Yo, yeah, if all of us guess, then you get another try. But the reason you got that point last time is because the other 2 guessed, and they weren't eligible to pick again. So
No, he said
you're out this round.
All right, we'll continue on here. Just to sum it up, he is an American. 5 feet 9 inches tall. Fought in the welterweight and lightweight divisions. 71.5-inch reach. He is 32 years old.
Ross. Jacob Volkman.
It is Jacob Volkman, who we were talking about earlier, Mr. Seizure Boy himself.
Gotta love those tail of the tapes before fights that happen 3 days before the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know shit about age, reach, and shit, so I'm automatically horrible at this game because that's
You gotta read
Ramses
those
goes
tails of the
to.
tapes.
So it's 2 points for Ross, 1 for Jake, 1 for
Yo,
Yao.
what about they went to this college, they did this, they beat this? I don't know.
I'll try to switch it up. But
I'm bitching.
I'll try to switch it up if I can. I don't know. Hang on 1 second here, people. So yeah, 2 points for Ross, 1 for Jake, 1 for Yao. There's confetti going around all over Miami, wherever the fuck they are. Oh, did they win in their hometown miraculously? Is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's what's going on. Okay.
Someone has a cigar in their hand, I just noticed.
Yeah, I think it's Bill Russell,
dick in my hand.
11-time NBA champion. Look at them celebrating the
Is that who's holding
goddamn
it?
all the money they made on this shit.
Yep, Russell, an 11-time champion.
That is awesome.
hmm We're gonna see what happens here. All right, the next fucking fighter. Hopefully, you guys are ready. If Ross answers this one correctly, he will defend his title for the 10th time. This fighter.
LeBron's sitting there with a fuck face going, come on now, after he gets handed the MVP trophy by one of the best ever. Classy. Just screaming, come on now, with the MVP, what?
It happens. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. This fighter lost his last fight. He, whoops. My screen just blanked on. Oh, there we go. It came back up. Sorry. He lost his last fight. He started training in judo. He's fighting out of the state of California. He has a southpaw stance. A brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His disciplines are kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu of course, and wrestling. He has a 77-inch reach. He has 2 losses on his MMA record.
Yeah.
Ross.
Oh, whoa, this is
I
too
think
close.
Yao got in
I
there.
heard Yao
I think
first.
Yao, yeah.
Yao, what is your guess? Yao. Did he drop off the damn call?
No, I'm here.
What is your guess? You chimed in first. Oh,
Forgot his name. No, I'm thinking. Oh,
I think I
man.
should get it now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My turn.
yes.
It is Luke Rockhold.
It is Luke Rockhold.
Damn, I
Yao
knew it.
choked. Ross has defended his title for the 10th time. The confetti is falling down. I am handing him the trophy as we speak. The trophy looks a lot like a marijuana cigarette.
What?
Ross,
What?
give your second victory speech of the night, sir. You just won.
Tried to pull a LeBron there, yelling "what" a couple times. 10 times the king, 10 times the champion, 10-0, 11-0 actually, because I did whoop
Yeah,
Jake's
you're like
ass
Russell.
that first time.
You like Bill fucking Russell.
I never lose. I will never lose. I am the champion. Chris Weidman will be champion on July 6th. Tune in and watch that fight. Follow everyone here. I am still the champion. Ross Finkelstein, at Ross Finkelstein on Twitter. I'm taking your soul too. Come and fight.
That's right. Let's wrap it up here on the Word on the Street podcast. Jake, from the MMA podcast, what's up, man? What's the plug? What's happening?
Yo, I'm gonna keep the Pride Victory music going just because the confetti's falling in Miami, and this is beautiful music, and I feel even more beautiful when I speak to it. You can follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. We do it every Wednesday. Also, the Word on the Street, you gotta love it. This show's every Tuesday and Thursday. You can find us on iTunes, find us on YouTube. To find the MMA Podcast, just go to the MMApodcast.com. There are links at the top for iTunes, for YouTube. If you feel like getting frisky, following my personal account, it's at Lou Lemon Schultz. L-O-U, lemon, like, you know, a lemon, L-E-M-O-N, Schultz, S-C-H-U-L-T-Z. And that's strictly because I'm applying for jobs and don't want people to see the fuckery I'm tweeting out. Thanks for having me on, Ramses. This is a beautiful show. I liked having Jamal on. Follow him at Jamal Smith MMA. Ross, you're a cocksucker, but you're a good cocksucker, and you're fucking 11-time champion. I gotta give you your due.
10-time champion.
Shit. Well, 11-time. This is your 10th defense, right?
10th defense, 11-time winner. I like to think
Bill
of myself
Russell.
as a one-time champion who's defended the belt 10 times.
You son of a bitch. Alright, yeah, what the fuck's going on? What's the truth?
The truth is, just follow me on Twitter at Yao_the truth. That's YAO, like Yao Ming _the truth. And follow Ramses at the Ant Jimmy Show, the Word on the Street, the best underground MMA podcast you'll ever hear.
Thank you
Yo,
for that.
Yao, can I write a check for that?
I am gonna come out with a shirt pretty soon. I'm not even gonna try to make money. Just honestly, if you have a shirt out there, it only helps. And I am gonna send each of you gentlemen one, no problem whatsoever. That is coming up. But yes, thank you, yeah, for the plug at the Aunt Jimmy Show on Twitter. This has been another fine episode. Thanks to everyone that came on. We will continue, of course, the after hours chat here in a second. But it has been the Word on the Street. We'll see you on Tuesday. There's apparently going to be some sort of MMA rap battle. We'll try to work it out. It should be funny as shit. Thanks, everyone. We're out of here. Good night.
Kisses.